The president has also said he's not going to meet with the Canadian Prime Minister, quote, for a while because of a TV ad paid for by the Canadian province of Ontario. The ad is aired during the World Series, prompting President Trump over the weekend to announce he's increasing tariffs on Canada by 10%. Here's part of the ad.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
The man who commissioned that ad, Ontario Premier Doug Ford, joins me now from Toronto. Premier Ford, thank you for being with us. Remind us, why did you decide to air this ad at all?
Well, what we wanted to do is make sure the American people understood the ramifications of protectionism on tariffs. And a tariff on Canada is a tax on Americans. And we've seen that. We've seen manufacturing jobs decline for 5 months straight in the U.S. Over 78,000 people are losing their jobs, and there's many more to come. And the way to fix it is let's get a deal. So it created a conversation, not just in the U.S. and Canada, but as I was mentioning, Ed, over 11.4 billion with a B, 11.4 billion impressions, which are basically 11.4 billion views of everything from social media, local media, and then our ads, obviously.
You said that the ad is essentially paused beginning today. Is it paused indefinitely, or might we see similar advertising in the near future in other spaces and other places?
Well, let's see how the negotiations go, and hopefully we can reach a deal. And it's paused right now, but I have every tool in the toolbox ready to defend jobs in Canada, but also in the U.S. And I always say, Ed, I absolutely love Americans. Canadians love Americans. We love the U.S. We're our closest friend and ally, and we need to stick together as we have for the last 200 years.
You know that the Ronald Reagan Foundation is said that they're considering legal action. Has your office heard from them? And I'm also curious, did you give Prime Minister Carney a heads up that you'd be running this ad?
Well, first of all, I'll answer that question. Yes, I did. I showed him the ad. I showed the Chief of Staff the ad. And as for the Ronald Reagan Foundation, it was very clear. We went to a U.S. law firm, anything public domain. The ad was accurate. That was Ronald Reagan's voice. And Ronald Reagan was all about free trade and creating more opportunities. And when he signed the original free trade deal with Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, which is a friend of mine, he's no longer with us, but it's all about creating more opportunities for not only Americans, but Canadians. And I always say about the AmCan Fortress, American-Canadian Fortress, creating more opportunities, more jobs, more stability, and making us both the wealthiest, richest, safest two countries in the world.
Obviously, much of Canada's exports to the United States, much of Canada's economy is driven by what goes on in your province. But it is not you that is directly involved in the U.S.-Canada trade talks. Do you know what the status is of those talks? Has anyone in the Canadian government heard from the Trump administration since the president threatened 10% tariffs over the weekend?
I can't answer for the federal government. I don't believe so. But we need to get back to the table. We paused the ads, and it wasn't my intention whatsoever to poke the president in the eye. My intention was to inform the American people and start a conversation. And did we ever start a conversation right across the country? But it's important to understand the way we get through this, the way we build our economy and lower inflation is by signing a deal with your number one customer. Canada is the number one customer. We buy more products than any country in the entire world. We buy 400% more autos. Ontario alone is the number one customer to 15 states, number two to 12 others, and vice versa. America's our number one customer. And that's why we've always worked together for 200 years and close allies and friends.
You really didn't think that this would poke the eye of the president, that it might stir him up?
Well, because when we first ran it, he actually complimented us and said, if I was Canada, I'd run the same ad. And then I thought, boy, okay, at least he respects a well-written ad. And it wasn't about him personally. It was Ronald Reagan's voice. And, I guess he woke up the next morning, someone whispered something in his ear, and he wasn't too happy.
Yeah. You mentioned you have every tool in your toolbox at your disposal. There is this friendly wager between you and the California governor, Gavin Newsom, as the World Series continues. The LA Dodgers, the Blue Jays playing tonight in the City of Angels. You two made a friendly wager and announced that over the weekend. Let's take a look at part of that.
If the Blue Jays win, I'll send you some of Ontario's finest maple syrup. The tariff might cost me a few extra bucks at the border these days, but it'll be worth it for a Jays win.
Something tells me that syrup is staying north of the border when the Dodgers win. And when they do, I'll send you a bottle of California's championship-worthy wine. Think you can put it on the liquor store shelves?
I don't think so, buddy. Talk to your friend in the Oval Office.
So there again, you're kind of poking and prodding the president along, hoping that this catches his attention. How do you think this ultimately plays out? How do you want to see it play out?
Getting a deal that's going to be fair to Canada and the U.S. Again, we're the two largest trading partners with each other. We buy more products off the U.S. and vice versa, and we just want to get a deal. I don't understand for the life of me why he wants to attack his closest friend and ally. The auto sector has been around since the 1960s, and it's worked well. Now it's costing the auto, the big three or big four auto companies, billions of dollars. And they've mentioned this to the president. It doesn't work. You can't unscramble an egg that's been around since 1960. You have to make the omelet larger and more opportunities to buy more vehicles. Because I know what's going to happen if he tacks on heavy tariffs on the auto sector. I know what Canadians are going to do, and we buy 400% more vehicles than any other country in the world. They're going to go elsewhere. They're going to buy vehicles manufactured in Europe or over in Asia somewhere. And that's not good for the American people. It's not good for the Canadian people.
That's right, because the two are so integrated. Premier Ford, thank you so much for joining us again. To be continued, but we appreciate you spending some time with us.
Ed, thank you so much. I love America. God bless America, and God bless Canada.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.